आपको इस वक्त ले चलते हैं, वज़ीर आज़म इमरान खान वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम से खिताब कर रहे हैं।
We provide employment, bring in investment in Pakistan, create the conditions, and I'm happy to say that in 1 year, according to the World Bank, that index of ease of doing business, Pakistan went up 28 points in the ease of doing business. We were in the top 10 countries which made the biggest improvement. What are the advantages of Pakistan? Number one is our population. We are 210 million people. 60% of Pakistanis are below the age of 30. This is the real strength of Pakistan. Unfortunately, we have neglected this young population because we did not concentrate on skill development, equipping them to employ themselves, become entrepreneurs, provide people to the young people to the industry. But now we have started a program of skill development. We have partnered World Economic Forum in this, this program of Skill Gap, and we have laid a huge amount of money for startups, young people, encouraging them to start their own businesses. This is the first time we've done apprenticeship. We are encouraging industries now to employ young people. So this is really our big source. This is our big resource which will, we hope, one day lift Pakistan. The other advantages Pakistan have, number one, is our mineral wealth. Sadly, untapped. Pakistan is sitting on one of the most precious gold and copper reserves. Unfortunately, we've had a few issues, so these reserves have remained untapped, but we have enough reserves that we can pay off all our foreign debt. We also have one of the largest coal reserves. We have rare earth minerals. We have unexplored gas reserves. So the whole government attention now is to develop these resources. We also have very fertile agricultural land. Unfortunately, the practices which we have done, we have not really explored this potential. Our productivity is one of the lowest. So for that, we have got help from China. China has been in the CPEC, what is this, the Pakistan-China economic corridor. We have in that got China to help us in developing the productivity of agriculture sector. And this is, I think, one area where Pakistan can make strides very quickly, because we do have fertile land. Unfortunately, as I said, our productivity is very low. And finally, my vision of Pakistan stems from its strategic location. Pakistan is strategically placed, probably one of the most fortunate positions in the world. On the one side is China, one of the fastest growing markets, and of course closely allied to Pakistan. Then we have energy reserves in Central Asia, and the moment there's peace in Afghanistan, we then have access to all the markets in Central Asia. Then we have Iran, and hopefully, if things settle down, Iran also, the more we trade with Iran, both countries will benefit. The biggest neighbor, second biggest neighbor is India. Unfortunately and sadly, the situation between India and Pakistan is not what it should have been. There are various reasons, and I won't go into it right now. This is not the right forum. But the moment Pakistan and Indian relationship becomes normal, trade starts between the two countries, then one can imagine the location, the strategic location of Pakistan with China on one side, India on one side, and then countries with excess energy on the western side. I am someone who believes that in Pakistan, the moment we get our governance right, that is the real issue. Sadly, our governance, the what in the past 30 years, the way our governance deteriorated, that was one of the biggest reasons that we have not been able to fulfill our potential as a country. The country has tremendous resources, young population, strategic located. All now, from now on, my government's biggest challenge now is how we can improve our state institutions, so we can improve our governance, so we can tap our potential. Thank you.
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम के खुसूसी सेशन से खिताब कर रहे थे। उनका कहना था कि पाकिस्तान के पहाड़ी इलाके बहुत खूबसूरत हैं, मुझे पाकिस्तानी पहाड़ों से खुसूसी लगाव है, ख्वाहिश थी मुल्क को फलाही रियासत बनाऊं। उनका कहना था कि खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में बिलियन ट्री मंसूबे कामयाबी से हमकिनार हुए हैं।
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम के खुसूसी सेशन से खिताब कर रहे थे।
हम आपको एक बार फिर लिए चलेंगे स्विट्जरलैंड के शहर डेवोस, जहां वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम पर मौजूद हैं।
Was the most, the safest year after 9/11. And that was reflected in our tourism. In between 2018 and 19, our tourism doubled in 1 year. And really this is the great potential of Pakistan in tourism, which is untapped completely. Because Pakistan has historical tourism. It has that 5,000-year-old Indus Valley civilization, the Mohenjo-daro civilization, which is one of the oldest. Then it has religious tourism. It has some of the most sacred sites for Hinduism, Sikhism, Sufism, and then Buddhism. There's some, the center of Buddhist civilization was the Gandhara, which is north of Pakistan. So we have religious tourism. And then the mountain tourism in Pakistan, almost half the peaks, over 24,000 feet, are in Pakistan. So it is untouched as yet, and our concentration for providing jobs to people and improving the growth rate is now on tourism. In fact, without us doing anything, tourism has doubled, and people are finding it difficult to have hotels or places to stay. So we are now inviting tourism investment in tourist resorts.
So maybe I'm at least one of the few Norwegians that have visited up in the Swat Valley. It's beautiful, and you also have beautiful other places. I think Swat Valley used to be the honeymoon place even in Pakistan. Is it now also, you see tourism also in these areas where the Pakistani Talibanis used to run, and you're not concerned that Pakistani Talibans can come back, and you're pretty sure that this is on safe footing?
You see, in Pakistan now, virtually there's no terrorism in Pakistan, and I have to pay tribute to our security forces. They did such a brilliant job, and it was for a while, we went through a really difficult period, but thanks to them, there is hardly any terrorism. I mean, you have the odd problem, but you know that you have anywhere in the world. Problem now is we need peace in Afghanistan and stability. Whatever terrorism now comes into Pakistan every now and then is from Afghanistan, and that's why this peace process in Afghanistan is very important. The quicker Afghanistan settles this peace and stability, it's not just only good for Pakistan from the terrorism point of view, but also the connectivity to Central Asia, and which will benefit both Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Are you, Mr. Prime Minister, optimistic that there can be a deal between Taliban and the government in Kabul? Americans are very much involved in this. You're also contributing. Is it possible this year? And do you think Taliban will also engage in a deal that will respect the rights of girls' education, women, and those areas where there have been progress in Afghanistan?
Well, the first thing is that there has to be peace. And that can only happen if Taliban and the Afghan government, they sit together and there's a political settlement. That has to be the first step. Just my view, I do not think that, you know, the saying, that you only cross the river once. What was in 2001 is not going to be now the case if and when Taliban and the Afghan government come together, because so much has happened since then. So I think it would be a completely different scenario. But the most important thing right now, and it's not going to be easy, but it is the only option, that the Taliban and the Afghan government sit together. Whenever that happens, it will have turbulence, but it is the only way forward. There is not, and there never was, a military solution in Afghanistan.
Mr. Prime Minister, as you also alluded to and mentioned, you have also initiated initiatives to have Saudis and Iranians de-escalating and trying to establish dialogues. You are able, as a nation, to have pretty good relations, both Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE and other Gulf states. If you look at the escalation that we have seen lately, some people even talk about this Middle East being at an inflection point, and there is no way back, and there are those that are more optimistic that there will be a de-escalation. You will continue to contribute in that process, and how do you see that unfolding in the year to come after Americans killed General Soleimani and etc.? Is U.S. deterrence back in the region? Are you short-term, medium-term optimistic on de-escalation, or is this something that really keeps you up at night?
Look, let me just first of all make a statement. I do not understand why countries go to resolve the differences through military conflicts. Because whenever, and this is just in our lifetime we've seen this, the moment you start a military conflict, you don't know where it is going to go. You can start a conflict, you don't know when it will finish. And then it has unintended consequences. So we have seen in front of our eyes Pakistan joining the US war on terror, and I was the one who was objecting to it. I was openly against it, and I thought Pakistan should have stayed neutral. It should not have become partisan, because Pakistan had nothing to do with 9/11. There were no Pakistanis involved. Al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan. And I remember then President Musharraf telling us, it's only a matter of a few weeks. So 70,000 people dead later, 10 years later, over $100 billion lost to the economy later, finally we realized we had made a mistake. And the US and Afghanistan, 18, 19 years of this war, and what, $1 trillion down the drain. So I do not think this is a way to resolve issues. And the worst thing that could happen is if it is a conflict between Iran and the US and its allies, it'll be a disaster. It'll be a disaster for us. Pakistan will be a disaster. It'll be a disaster for the developing world, because the oil prices will shoot up. Already we are trying to barely manage our budgets and our current account situation. Suddenly everything will be offset. It will cause poverty in the world, and God knows how long it will go on. So, we in Pakistan pray that this does not happen. We have tried our best. We've already talked to Saudi Arabia, Iran, the United States. I spoke to President Trump yesterday, and I told him that this would be a disaster for us if this war starts.
Did he agree?
He didn't say anything.
You guys share with us, it stay in this room.
I'm serious, he didn't say anything. But I think he understood, because this would be, in my opinion, it'll be insanity. Because just Afghanistan is still not resolved. And, Iran would even be a bigger problem.
वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इमरान खान डिवोस में आलमी इक़्तिसादी फोरम से खिताब कर रहे थे.